Alright guys, so what you're going to need for this install, I prefer a drill for my Phillips on low power, a flathead screwdriver, a socket wrench of your choice with a shorty extension and a shorty 8mm bit, and then some gloves if you prefer to have gloves as well. And then we're also going to utilize this rag in our engine bay, as you'll see, to protect some of our coverings, just in case we drop something or we don't want to actually scratch anything under our hood. For this install, I've already removed or loosened the 8mm screws. The only thing I suggest doing that'll make it a little easier is just, you don't have to, but remove this 8mm clamp that's on the top of the airbox, so we can just remove the whole assembly and work on the bottom freely without anything being in the way. So we're going to do that now. Using my snap-on socket wrench with a shorty 8mm on there. You don't want to loosen this all the way because those clamps can be kind of a pain in the butt to actually put back together sometimes. You just want to get it loose enough to where you can remove it from the airbox itself, and then you can just let that hang down. These have already been loosened, so we're going to just pull this guy up, and there's hooks on the back side here. So you got to lift up and out. What I do is pull these screws all the way out first. It'll feel like they're not going to come out, and you just give them a turn and a wiggle, and they'll come right out. Boom. And you can set your top of your airbox off to the side, making sure not to scratch up any of your stuff. And what's actually kind of nice is the coolant reservoir cap will hold it in place. As you can see, I got a fresh air filter already in here. No dirties, just a little bit right there. We can shake it out over here just to make sure. I do that anytime I open my airbox. Should be pretty good though, nice and clean. You want to see dirt between the layers. That's when you know you need to replace it, unless there's a lot of visible dirt on the surface. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is remove this 8mm bolt and nut combo here. It has a grommet on it that attaches it to the initial frame of the vehicle. I don't know why I said initial, but I said initial. There's only one frame. It's not initial. Front end frame.
You know, just in case you need another one.
So it feels like it's not going to come out, but we want to back that guy out all the way. I may end up time-lapsing this. Note. Still in there. You don't have to, but I like to make sure I have gloves on, because sometimes old grease and whatnot on the cars, it makes it pretty difficult to get off. You can move your airbox out of the way and release the bottom, and we're free. A little dirty in there. We're going to get that cleaned up and come right back. So while we're in here, what we're going to do, the whole point of this intake is to utilize this factory headlight plug. So you're going to reach in here. I got to take my glove off for this. And you're going to reach into the headlight, and you'll feel the back side of the plug. And if you come around to the front, the plug that's in the headlight, the eye, so to speak, you got to give a little bit of push, and it should come out. There's 3 prongs back there, but once you release them, boom, there it is. So what the intake does is, off the side of the airbox, I'll show you on the factory ones, off the side of the airbox, there's a hole in this vicinity, and it runs a tube that comes with it to that headlight hole to bring extra cold air to your intake, which is, in my opinion, better than any of the quote-unquote cold air intakes that you can buy, because you're constantly getting cold air right from the front of the car. You want to make sure you get all of that area clean, as you're going to be pulling cold air connected to the tube in that area. So I find if you just get a rag in there with some cleaner on it, put some elbow grease behind it, you come out with a nice clean tube. All right, so I ordered mine from Amazon. I found one for ultra cheap, guys, and I'll post a link in the description for the video. It was like 28 bucks shipped, I think. Super cheap, factory quality. I'm hoping, because we're gonna open it now and find out. So super light box. This is a gift for you. Enjoy. And by the way, nobody sent me this. I bought it myself. Man, they really...
Maybe because you ordered it with my Mother's Day stuff?
Oh, maybe. Man, they really fucking did a job on this one, huh? You'd think like a Gremlin's in here or something.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Gizmo pops out.
Boom. Let's go. We're going to get this unwrapped and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here it is. Straight from Shenzhen, I'm assuming. Overall quality, let's compare it to the factory one. So the factory one, a little bit harder ABS, except for the Mopar stamp there, the pentastar stamp. Pretty much same quality, no pad on the back like this has. This one does feel a little lighter, so hey, if anything, weight reduction on the car. Let's go. Quality feels good, doesn't feel like it's going to break. The mold seems to be pretty freaking accurate. And then as far as our induction tube for our headlight goes, different type of ABS plastic, but it's really, really hard, except for the fitment piece that's going to go into the air box to the, even the front end here where the headlight piece goes is actually really not only wide but super durable. Feels like if you dropped it by accident during install, it's not going to break. It's pretty hard ABS, but it doesn't feel brittle. It feels like it has a lot of tensile strength. So prior to doing anything, we're going to get this one snapped on the way it goes, and if you notice there's a notch right there. That notch will then line up with this top marker here to put it in the correct direction of the headlight. Boom, there it is. And you're not ever going to see this part, especially because soon we're going to be doing the headlight colored matching headlight intake rings that go on the outside of the car. And I'll also put a link in the description for that. All right, guys, so getting this in, you're going to want to angle the tube placement side down, and we're just going to go down and in, making sure to line it up properly with your gasket down there. And you want it to just seat on there just like how the factory one did. And then we can, you'll hear a nice little click once it gets into place. Oh, my tube came out. And then we can begin to stabilize this guy and bolt him down. Now, down the bottom here, if you really want to be particular, you could probably use some kind of silicone or gasket sealant. But honestly, you don't really need to. We shouldn't have any air leaking issues once we get it all set and stabilized and kind of battened down here. So also too, you might want to feel in here and make sure, or look in here and make sure your tube is touching the inner headlight area. If it's not, make sure you do some readjusting, and once we get it fit down, it should be okay. One thing, make sure you grab this metal and rubber grommet off of your old intake box. If not, this is just going to be not a tight fit and wobbling all over the place. So It was kind of a bitch to get out because the top of it is metal. But you just pop it in like so. All right, so we got our 8mm bolt started here. We're just gonna click over and snug this guy down, holding the tab that locks your screw in place. You don't want it twisting all over the place so it doesn't interfere with how your airbox actually fits. Probably twist it in here. So it might go back in place. You see here? Yeah, every click I go back, it fits back. Nice crank and a half. We're good. I don't think that's going to be in the way.
Like and subscribe. Thank you. Part 2 coming soon.